Good evening, everyone! Welcome here for round 22 of the 2022 championship season. Boy, do we have a good one for you today. North Wilkesboro is always a fan favorite, one of the best short tracks that in all of North America. And we're racing under the lights. Jacob Hart, two-time champion of the Sony Cup Series. Nobody knows if Hart will be coming back for next season, but this looks like it could be possibly his final full-time season. And, well, going out on a high note, really, on pole position for a team that's been struggling to get top 20s, been mainly a top 25 car. On pole position, big night for him ahead. Eric DeMax is going to be starting alongside in car 0. He's in the hunt for the top 5 in the championship for the Drivers' Championship. The Drivers' Championship is kind of still up in the air, but Jake Baskinger enters this race more than a full race worth of points ahead of DJ Curtis. Curtis still searching for that third driver's title. He's in the hunt still. Dylan Schwellenberg about 60 points back, his third in point standings. Dejon Weeks and a few others still hopeful that somehow they can claw their way back into this championship battle. But the races are dwindling away. The chances of the championship slowly diminishing. And Jake Baskinger is hoping to go out on top. He's retiring from full-time competition as Jake Baskinger, and he's looking like the favorite to take home the 2022 championship. But we have 150 laps to do today at North Wilkesboro. Let's get down to start the race. Engines are fired, and we're about to roll off for 150 laps. North Wilkesboro is always so exciting to watch. The high side can work, the inside can roll. We love to see that when there's a multi-group surface. These final few races in the Sony Cup Series season is going to be some of the most fun to watch. We have the best tracks coming up in the schedule. Jacob Hart could be bowing out for the final time at the end of the year. He's hoping to grab at least one more victory. On pole position for tonight's race, Nick Mace and Ryan Acosta for Mace Enterprises. They're qualifying inside of the top 10. What a run for they had in qualifying. But the green flag flies. We're racing. And Eric DeMax already getting the jump on Jacob Hart. Here comes Chris Dodd, who also qualified very well. Round the outside. Wow, Jacob Hart, that pole position didn't last very long, did it? Here comes Dejon Weeks. To the inside is Zayden Davidson. James Shelley's there as well. 3 wide further back. The Mace Enterprises cars, we talked about them in the pre-race coming to start the race. Nick Mace and Ryan Acosta. The fact that they qualified inside the top 10 is huge for that organization. They're both a go homer week in and week out. Nick Mace has failed to qualify for a lot of races here this season. And this is his final Sony Cup Series season for Nick Mace. A legend of the sport is Nick Mace, and not a whole lot has been said about his final season, but he is a literal icon of the sport. Jeff James, the inside of James Zorvox. We saw Samuel England very loose further back. He's underneath of Richard Johnson, trying to work his way to the front. Here's a big driver we're going to have to keep an eye on this race. We've been talking about silly season a little bit off the track. And Shane Eves. He's a team owner for a new up-and-coming shape in Yako Racing, the number 93 car. Ryan Acosta will be driving that car full-time next season. But Eves is driving the 03 S3 Motorsports car for this race, and this is the final race the 03 will be entered for this season. They're currently the point leader of the part-time entries to try and earn a charter for the 2023 season. Daniel Bouchard hitting the wall on the front straight, but it's a tight battle between the 03 and the 93 in the part-time owner points. And, well, Eves is in a tough spot as a car owner for the 93 and a driver for the 03. But he's behind the wheel trying to give S3 Motorsports the best run they can for tonight's race. Jesse Turner to the inside of Alex Bignacco, another driver that is bowing out at the end of the season. Bignacco still could be a threat to, win the championship, but the way this season has gone, Jake Baskinger is going to take lightning striking the 97 car and an engine expiring under the hood of that 97 to take him out of the championship battle, many people believe. He's just so consistent and does a phenomenal job behind the wheel. And, well, this could be redemption this season for Jake Baskinger. We talk about how he lost the championship in 2020 due to a points penalty and had to miss out because of an injury in the 2020 season. And Baskinger's moved his way into the top 10, only 10 laps in. We're hearing there was an issue for Daniel Bouchard in the AlphaTauri. And Bouchard returning to the race, he'll be a couple of laps down. Dejon Weeks underneath of Jacob Hart. Hart had a really good car in single car runs for the 1 lap pace, but as far as race pace goes, Jacob Hart slowly dropping backwards. Weeks is into 4th, Shelley's in 3rd, but the fastest 2 on the racetrack is Eric DeMax and Chris Dodd. And the caution flag is out. Gonna have to get a replay of what just happened, but Allen Family Racing Team with Chris Dodd so far tonight looking very sporty. Here's a replay of what happened. The 3, Kev Shear underneath of Alex Benyako. Cole Baker left rears Alex Benyako, spins Benyako down into his teammate of Kev Shear. And Shear gets a lot of back end damage, but he'll be able to continue on. Well, early in the race, but already some cars coming down pit road. Jacob Hart, Nick Mace, DJ Curtis second in the championship has pitted. Samuel England as well. Well, coming back to the restart, 41 cars on the lead lap. And Eric DeMax, a great jump over Chris Dodd. Dodd in the 44. Allen Family Racing Team has been in the series since 2015. And every season Allen Family Racing Team has ever been in, they've grabbed a win at least some point in the season. And I don't believe I really expected Allen Family Racing Team early in the year, and as far as the way their season has gone, for them to grab a race win. But Chris Dodd very well may be the only hope this team has of keeping that streak alive of at least 1 win a season. And continuing to talk about it, Dylan Young's on pit road. Black flag out for the 16 of Dylan Young. He passed to the inside. On that restart, you're not allowed to pass the car on the inside before you pass the start-finish line, and Dylan Young's been caught for doing that, so they black flagged him. Ryan Acosta, though, from Mace Enterprises. Mace Enterprises had a really good cars this race weekend. Nick Mace pitted on that caution flag. His teammate Ryan Acosta. Well, with Mace Enterprises shutting down and Nick Mace leaving the sport at season's end, Ryan Acosta in 5th will be going over to Shea Benyako Racing. He's hoping that 93 car for Shea Benyako Racing gets that charter for next season so he can be locked into every race. Otherwise, Acosta next season will be a Gorga Homer for the entire 2023 season. Behind Acosta, John Hart in the 43 could have won this race in 2020. When he was driving for CM Racing, he was battling Jake Bassinger that race. A caution came out late. Dylan Young grabbed the victory that day. And Hart, not really entirely surprised that John Hart's running well today. He's always been very good on the short tracks. And his teammate, Chris Dodd, continues to try and pressure Eric DeMax. James Shelley has kind of came to life here since the restart. And Shelley's looking to try and get into 2nd position. But good run for Allen Family Racing Team today. We'd love to see it. And Matthew Rodriguez to the inside of the lap car, Daniel Bouchard. Zayden Davison, Cody Lamas making up the top 10. As we look a little further down, Jeff James Marchese, Silver Fox Turner, Harple and Baker. And, well, Benyako was able to save it. And it ended up being an accident with Cole Baker and Kev Shear. Behind them, 3 wide. White, Richard Johnson, and that's Gatlin Downey in the 33 this weekend for North Border Motorsports, trying to get them a top 20 run. Charlie Smith, teammate Joseph Shrigley there. Vince Freeze, Peter Onjak, Shears brother tore up back in. Bob Burns in the 80. You know, that team gave it their all in their part-time fight in the owner points. And, well, no word right now on who will drive full-time for Anjato's 70 car next season. And no word on if they'll even field a 2nd car next season for an open car. And Austin Rodgers in this race car for Martin Motorsports. There's Shade Eves. Charles Sanford's having a poor race today. Luke Martin. There's Jacob Hart. We talked about how he pitted under that last caution flag. He's the inside of Dom Caps. Mace getting shoved out of the way by Curtis. And Dylan Schwellenberg, he qualified in the back. And he hasn't even shown a whole lot of pace at all this race. And, well, cause for concern down there on the 10 crew. For the 99, Cole Baker. 2nd time this race. Baker's got a flat tire. Cole Baker found the apron finally. Everyone trying to get by, and Baker's kind of losing control of the car, trying to get that 99 to pit road. That's a shame for Cole Baker. He's had an up and down season. And look at this for the second position. James Shelley looking at the inside of Chris Dodd. Dodd racing with Eric DeMags as future teammates there. Dodd will be going over to CM Racing, and Shelley staying on for Turner Performance Racing, being the second driver for the team. And many people believe Turner Performance Racing with James Shelley could be a threat for next season. And Shelley to the inside for second position is going to take it away. And well, Jeff James has done well this season and running inside the top 10, but when it comes to finishing inside the top 10, this team has struggled to do that. But Jeff James, slowly but surely, is bringing bringing Joseph Strigley Racing into the top 10 and being more competitive week in and week out. And that's exactly what Jeff James was brought on to do a long while back when he left Martin Motorsports all that was a few seasons ago. James Sorfox looking pretty competitive this afternoon. He's moving his way into the top 10. All right, so the leader just ran up on Logan Cloud, the first lap car, and Shelley just drove it to the outside. Shelley driving it to the outside of Eric DeMags. Very brave move by James Shelley. Chris Dodd gonna follow Eric DeMags. Dejon Weeks is there as well. Four-car fight for the lead. Ron Acosta, John Hart, Jake Baskinger, Matt Rodriguez. They continue to be the four cars that just linger behind the race leaders, but a four-car fight for the lead. Dodd gonna push his way past. And now Dejon Weeks is gonna go to the inside of James Shelley. These lap cars could dictate who ends up getting the lead. It's been incredibly tough all afternoon to make passes when you're deep in the field. And look at this train of cars. Austin Rodgers in the 55. He is currently 24th, a very solid run for the Martin Motorsports driver. Rodgers is standout for that team in the Napa Truck Series, but when it comes to the Cup Series, he's still got a lot to learn. And, well, he's fighting for every position possible. And, well, he's trying to stay on the lead lap as well. And this is causing a lot of drivers to get really impatient. And we've had nearly an accident a couple of times. Jacob Hart got right in the back end of Vince Freeze a couple of laps ago. And Dylan Young got shoved to the outside by DJ Curtis. And they know the leader is behind them. And the 0-3, Shade Eves trying to stay on the lead lap. Allison Rain there. Well, Eric DeMax, has some hungry drivers behind him also. James Shelley, Chris Dodd to the outside of Eric DeMax. The outside, you got to be able to arc the corner on the outside a lot better. And Dodd's kind of using the outside pretty good. But here comes DeMax to the inside of Eves. Dejon Weeks, James Shelley looking for a way to get by Eric DeMax. But Dodd again drawing even. But it's the lap cars that are dictating this race right now. And Ryan Acosta bringing John Hart, Jake Bassinger, Matt Rodriguez. They could be in the fight for the lead here soon. Allison Rain, got to give her credit. She's done a good job fighting off the race leader. Got the inside. Here comes Shelley looking at the inside of Eric DeMax. There may be an opportunity for a pass to the lead. And Shelley drives it to the inside of the Dollar Tree Ford. Is now up at the lead. Fifth on down to 8th place. Ron Acosta and all them have now caught the lap cars as well. And their progress of coming to the front has slowly diminished a little bit. And Acosta driving to the inside of future car owner Shady. It's 3 wide. Peter on Jack Vince Freeze. Allison Rain tried all she could. Now is a lap down. And Shelley powering his way through the field. Here comes DeMax. Dodd and Weeks trying to stick with James Shelley. Shelley again dive bombing it 3 wide. Peter on Jack and Dylan Young don't have an answer for their affiliate teammate. And Shelley puts them another car lap down. Young gonna try and follow Shelley through. You gotta give Austin Rodgers a ton of credit. This has made this part of the race very interesting, trying to stay on the lead lap. Shelley, if he can cut clear of these lap cars, there's an open track up in front of Austin Rodgers, and that would allow him to get out to an amazing lead. Curtis, golly. Curtis, the inside of Rodgers. Now, finally, somebody got around Austin Rodgers. England going to try and do the same thing. Shelley, though, pushes England by. Dom Caps in between Shelley and Eric DeMax, and this is going to open the floodgates. Rogers is kicked up high, and Shelley trying to pull the gap. James Orfox has done a very good job of pulling away and trying to catch the 8th place driver, Matt Rodriguez. Orfox and his UAR Mercedes looking very good. He's pretty sporty this afternoon, and he may be able to get around Matt Rodriguez and Jake Baskinger. Near accident was formed right here. Hart got very loose off turn 4 and almost caught Vince Freeze, which would have put them both on the wall. Could have caused a big accident there. Second in the championship, DJ Curtis is ahead of Samuel England, but more importantly ahead of the leader, James Shelley. And Curtis desperately needs to try and stay on the lead lap. Second in the Drivers' Championship, this would be big for his title hopes this afternoon if he were to fall a lap down and out of contention for the race win and any possible positions here. So Curtis needs to fight with his all, and England's doing the same thing, but Shelley to the outside of England, gonna try and pass him on the outside. England's fighting with James Shelley, but Shelley just has that good of a race car, and that is very impressive when somebody can just go to your outside and make a pass. And, well, Shelley has now a few cars in between himself and Eric DeMax. Chris Dodd and Dejon Weeks continuing to stay right there, tucked in behind each other. Flag is out. Somebody has spun another car on the pit road. Cody Lamas, an unscheduled pit stop maybe. Caution flag is out. Samuel England got put a lap down, but more importantly, DJ Curtis, second in the championship, stays on the lead lap. And Cody Lamas looks like he's going to stay on the lead lap as well. Very important timing with this caution flag. Not sure what caused the yellow flag, but leaders are on pit road near halfway. Going to look to get another replay here. Hartwell in the 14 made contact with Charlie Smith, I believe. Spinning down into Jeffrey White, and it looked like Bob Burns and Joseph Shrigley kind of unlucky there and was entangled in it as well. Another view of it. 3 wide. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Hartwell got loose. Not a whole lot Charlie Smith did wrong there. And, well, Shrigley and Bob Burns made contact, putting them both in the outside wall. Minimal damage for everyone there, so luckily, not a whole lot wrong. But an important restart. James Shelley ahead of Chris Dodd, Dejon Weeks, Eric DeMax. James Orfox has jumped his way into 5th. Big day for James Orfox. It's been a while since Orfox has been this competitive. Ryan Acosta, Matthew Rodriguez, Jake Baskinger, John Hart, Jeff James. A lot of surprises inside the top 10 here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Samuel England trying to jump out ahead. Trying to get his lap back. Same with Dom Caps. Dylan Young's there too. Oh man, Matt Rodriguez, a poor restart. Losing a ton of positions. Matt Rodriguez to the inside of him. A big shuffle further back. Jeff James has jumped this way up into 7th position from the restart. And here comes Chris Dodd looking to try and take the race lead to the inside of James Shelley. We talked about it earlier in the race. Allen Family Racing Team, they have not went a season ever going winless. They've at least won one time. And, well, winless so far this season. Both drivers, John Hart and Chris Dodd, have struggled massively this year. And Chris Dodd knocking on the door of the race lead. Looking at the cars that are 1 lap down. Dylan Schwellenberg, 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. 34th on the racetrack. This is the kind of run we do not ever expect out of the 10 team. And Schwellenberg on raw pace is just having the worst race ever. And this is not the day we would have expected of a potential champion. Oh man, Shane Eves, all contact with Lamas and Curtis as well. Man, the 0-3, Shane Eves and Bob Burns made contact. There's a spin. Baker around again, saves it. Oh, Baker's gonna, I think Baker spun in pit road. Yes, he did. Wow, I don't even think a yellow flag is out for that. Lamas is coming down pit road. No yellow flag for that. Wow, so here's how it happened. Benyako gets into Eves, spins Eves down the track, and Curtis took a heck of a lick with Lamas. Curtis enters this race second in the Drivers' Championship. Well, second and third in the point standings. You know, they needed to have something go right for them this afternoon to try and make up points in the championship. And it looks like they're just throwing it away here. And this is what happened with Cole Baker when he got spun in pit road. And poor Cole Baker, he's been involved in like 3 different things this afternoon. And Baker tried to get back on the racetrack, but nothing he really could have done there. And hopefully the officials don't give him a black flag for, you know, speeding on the entry of pit road. And well, a bad night gone to worse for Cole Baker. They black flagged him and put him for a stop and go penalty and repair damage as well. Cody Lamas, you see, sitting on pit road for an awful long time. Everyone in the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship are having the worst luck tonight, except for Dejon Weeks and Jake Baskinger. Meanwhile, up front, Chris Dodd has lost second place. It is Eric DeMax out front. DeMax is in second behind James Shelley. It's Shelley and DeMax. And DeMax looks a little better than James Shelley at this point. Dejon Weeks is in third in the podium positions right now. Fourth position is Matthew Rodriguez as he drives to the inside of Chris Dodd. Dodd back to 5th. James Sorfox is in 5th position, but maybe not for long. Here comes Hart in the 43 for the 6th position. I thought that was for 5th, but it wasn't. Wow. 3 wide, possibly Logan Cloud to the inside of Sorfox as well. Jake Baskinger there in the 97 and 8th. Jake Baskinger, if he continues to just run top 10 week in and week out, he's going to become a 2-time champion of the Sony Cup Series. When you have that big of a point lead, you just have to bring it home most of the time. You have to be rock solid. And that's exactly what that 97 team and the driver have been all year. A flat tire for Jeff James. Jeff James and the 18 team continuing to make strides week in and week out to get better and better. But unfortunate breaks like this one is what keeping them out of the top 10 running order. And well, Jeff James still 0 top 10s on the season, but he's definitely shown pace to be up there. And another day that could have been good, gone bad. Eric DeMax looking to get by the 71 to the inside for the race lead. Eric DeMax going to get this position away, I believe. Sideways off a turn 4, dirt tracking it off the corner. Matthew Rodriguez continues to make a charge up the grid. He's in the 3rd position. Eric DeMax, James Shelley side by side. Vince Freeze the lap car there. Wow, look at the running order further back. Rodriguez, Weeks. 5th position is gonna be Jake Baskinger here. Underneath of Zayden Davidson. And John Hart there in the 43. Then Chris Dodd. That's the top 8. Anthony Marchese and Richard Johnson, the top 10 right now. The 3 car. Kev Shear in 11th position. Doing a phenomenal job with the damage on the back end. In the UER right now, Sean Harple and James Sorfox looking like they're in 12th and 13th position. Jesse Tunner in 14th. Alex Benyako in 15th. That's Jeffrey White, who's had problems all day. Same with Alex Benyako. Then it's Jozo Shrigley. Bob Burns, a big day for Angiato right now. 76 Charlie Smith, DJ Curtis hanging in there, still on the lead lap. Matthew Rodriguez. Where has Rodriguez came from? Matthew Rodriguez returning to the early season Rodriguez that we come to know, winning races. And Rodriguez coming to life here. 2nd position, passing James Shelley. Now has just Eric DeMax to deal with. Flag is out on the speedway. Somewhere there's been another accident, a big crash on the back straightaway. Bob Burns and Luke Martin have crashed. Going to try and get a replay of it. Jeffrey White dive bombs Luke Martin, puts Martin in the wall. 4 wide at North Wilkesboro with Shrigley, Goss, White, and Ryan Reed there with Burns. And on his lid, Luke Martin. Gonna drive away from the accident, but Martin Fisher Motorsports, I believe, was running in the top 25 before that. I'm gonna get an onboard view of this. Samuel England. Oh my God! He saw a gap and he went for it, but everyone else behind him did the same thing. See, on board with Charlie Smith. Oh my God, grazes the outside wall. DJ Curtis behind Charlie Smith did the same thing. Wow. So, getting back to the restart. Eric DeMax, after pitting, this is the last round of pit stops that our drivers have done. Dejon Weeks enters this race 83 points back. He's in position to try and grab another race win behind Eric DeMax on the restart. DeMax gets a well of a jump. Same with Weeks. Rodriguez back in third position with James Shelley in fourth. Both of them on the outside. Zane Davidson, who's been solidly outside the top 5 all race, he's in fifth ahead of Jake Baskinger. With Harpo, Dodd, Marchese, and Johnson making up the top 10. Baker the inside of Jeff James, that's for position a lap down. Rodriguez and Shelley breaking away, that's third and fourth, but Dejon Weeks, a big day for him. Could be grabbing a race win and trying to close in any sort of points possible on Jake Baskinger. Jaden Davidson, Jake Baskinger. They just drove to the inside of Matt Rodriguez. Rodriguez was really firing off on that run. It's a shame the caution flag came out for him. And, well, the adjustments on pit stops didn't really go the right way for him. Baskinger is looking pretty competitive. Same with Zayden Davidson, as they just moved their way up into the top 5. With less than 20 laps to go, the leaders are creeping in on lap traffic. DJ Curtis in car 19 still on the lead lap, still trying to hang in there. If Jake Baskinger has a problem, sideways with Richard Johnson and Jesse Tunner, that's to get into the top 10. Joseph Shrigley's in there. He spun earlier, didn't he? But wow, very aggressive to try and get in the top 10, but lap traffic to deal with the leaders. Eric DeMax all over his teammate Kev Shear. Sideways is Shear. Shear hangs on to it. Dejon, we saw brawl. There's a crash. Daniel Bouchard is spun. Oh, and Eric DeMax. DeMax runs right in the back end of Kev Shear. Remember, they're racing back to the start-finish line still. Bouchard spun in turn 1. Gonna get us a restart coming up to near 10 laps to go. Eric DeMax got to be frustrated with Kev Shear for checking up as big as he did. Drove alongside us to say, what are you doing? Will they pit again? I don't think they will. DeMax pulls a big gap on Weeks here. Weeks is gonna be like, where are you going? Trying to put everybody a lap down. You can't do that under yellow flag anymore. But everybody trying to get their lap back now. Weeks is going to line up still in second position with Shelley third. Davidson and Baskinger the top 5. It'll be 12 laps to go when we come back to the stripe. Eric DeMax is in the lead. He's been probably the most dominant car of the day. Led from the get-go. Was the best car at the start. James Shelley, Matt Rodriguez, Dejon Weeks, even Chris Dodd at times. He had challengers come and fight him at the lead, but nobody has really been better than DeMax all day, I don't believe. Somebody's going to have to take it away from him. But DeMax has some damage on the hood. Will that damage play into the roll here late in the going? DeMax is about to figure out in each corner when he drives in at high speed. Okay, how's this damage going to affect the car getting in the corner? He's going to start figuring out how this car handles. The handle is going to be a whole lot different than what it was. And it may hurt a little bit of the straightaway speed that he may carry. But, like we talked about in the pre-race, short tracks, you know, aerodynamics is not as important on short tracks. And DeMax, he may still be fine. But he's got Dejon Weeks pressuring him all the way home. With James Shelley still riding in third. Remember, some cars did pit under yellow. It was mainly the lap cars, but the leaders, They end up staying out. Zayden Davidson's in 4th position. 5th place is Anthony Marchese. No, it's not. Look at Joseph Shrigley coming out of that big pack of cars in the top 5. Absolutely nowhere Shrigley has came from. Marchese's in 6th. 7th is Jeffrey White. A lot of cars that have been involved in accidents today are in the top 10. Shrigley's in 5th, though. Silver Fox in 8th. 9th is Bob Burns. Bob Burns for Angiato. Burns was involved in a crash that put Martin upside down. Jake Baskinger trying to hold on to a top 10 run. Big points today, possibly, for Dejon Weeks in the 30. Baskinger is gaining 33 points. Weeks currently is getting 45. But an extra 5 bonus points would be for moving his way up to first position to grab the win. Shelley a little too far back. I don't think he's going to have anything to say about this in the closing laps. But wow, I'm stunned. Angiato could be getting their first ever top 10 run. And Burns is behind the wheel. It's not Edward Ziemba. Bob Burns. Edward Ziemba has been the more proven driver in the 80 car this season. But Bob Burns putting in a heck of a performance right now, beating the current championship leader. Laps are ticking away. 4 laps to go. Weeks does not need this with the lap cars. Oh, Weeks, what in the world? Weeks is pitting. Same with James Shelley. Shelley and Dejon Weeks have came down pit road. Who else is pitting? Oh, I was just talking about him. Bob Burns. They're topping off with fuel. They can't make it on fuel. They're topping up on gas. Where is Eric Demax? Demax takes 2 laps to go, I believe. Yes, it is. Does he have to pit? No, he doesn't. Eric Demax and CM Racing have enough fuel to get to the end. Who else is pitting? Is anyone else going to pit? I don't believe so. Oh, that's a heartbreak for Angiato and Bob Burns and Dejon Weeks in his championship ambitions. But the white flag is displayed for Eric Demax. He has not won a race since March of 2020, and Demax wins it at North Wilkesboro in dominating fashion. And Zayden Davidson finishes 2nd. And on the podium, give it to Joseph Shrigley. Shrigley's on the podium for Horizon Group. Marchese 4th. James Sorfox 5th. Jeffrey White. White was involved in so many accidents as well. He finishes 6th. Jake Baskinger extends the championship lead even more today. Top 5 in the point standings, beside the championship leader, had issues. Baskinger finishes 7th and looks ever brighter in his hopes of a 2nd title. Richard Johnson in 8th. Matt Rodriguez and Car 9 finishes 9th. And Jesse Turner gets a top 10. Wow. Dejon Weeks and James Shelley, they were running 2nd and 3rd on the racetrack, but they couldn't make it on fuel. I can't believe that. I didn't realize we were that close on fuel mileage. I don't know what happened. Same thing happened with Bob Burns and Angiato. Angiato was just a couple laps away from their first ever top 10 result. And, oh, that hurts to see for all 3 of those drivers. What could have been for them. And Weeks was the only one in the championship fight that was looking like he was going to cut into the championship lead, but just by a little bit by finishing second. No, it doesn't even happen there. Weeks will finish way outside the top 20. And Baskinger finishing 7th. I don't know what this does to the point standings. I don't know how many points Baskinger is ahead of anybody now. But, oh my goodness. So this is race 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We have 4 races, guys. 4 races left to decide the 2022 champion. And that means there's 200 points up for grabs. And Baskinger is probably looking like he's closer to 70 points. 70 points ahead of second in the championship. You got to give it to him. Baskinger is super consistent. And he's doing a heck of a job out there this season. But he's got to be perfect in these last 4 races. A DNF could change everything. A DNF and a win by any of his competitors behind him is all it takes to change the picture of the championship. But I would be lying, and anybody on the grid would be lying to you if they don't believe Jake Baskinger is 99% certain to be the champion this season because of the way he drives out on the racetrack. We just have to wait and see. We have Homestead coming up, Martinsville, Rockingham, and Atlanta. And we'll have to wait and see what the rest of the year unfolds for us. But thank you all for watching. This was North Wilkesboro. These final 5 races are some of my favorite tracks on the schedule, and I love them so much. This was a good race. And, well, we'll see you next time when we go to Homestead.